Hey Forum, my name is Manny, aka CascadeScents. Welcome to another video. And as you see by the title, this one is on the perfect $250 fragrance collection. And honestly, I was actually inspired to do this video from someone outside of the fragrance community, and that is Teddy Baldassar, who is a very prolific YouTuber here for watches. If you also enjoy watches, you probably know his videos, but I thought that the format of having a perfect collection for different kinds of people was just really cool, and I wanted to do a fragrant version of that. And for today's video, we have three different people here. So one is the TOOLBOX individual. You're the type to like to go for something that is proven for either situation that you might come across in your daily life. Two is the signature individual. You're the person who wants to be able to use a certain scent for whatever situation you have to deal with, so something that's uber versatile. And three, here we have the hipster individual. This person is probably going to be more along the lines of wearing fragrances according to their mood rather than the situation altogether, and chances are doesn't also care about trends, so doesn't mind looking for something outside of the biggest brands, because to them there's always gems out there, and you guys should know that too. Now, as much as I want to get into the scents already, I have to say this, that the prices we're going to go off of as far as $250 is only applicable to these scents because of gray market resellers. If you're perhaps newer into the fragrance community or any luxury goods community, you might not really know what gray market is. So the way this works is that a gray market reseller buys overstock, new old stock, from various authorized retail points and or stockists. They'll buy this shit in bulk just because these retailers don't have it in them to keep selling this stuff at a retail level, as well as trying to make new room for new stuff. So it has to get cleared one way or another, and then on these resale sites, unless there's hella demand for these items, more often than not, these guys are going to be marked all the way down. So not only is this going to be the perfect $250 fragrance collection, you're also going to be saving quite a big chunk of change too. That being said, I didn't really take into consideration shipping, taxes, and or other duties, so I hope you have a little bit more than $250 just in case. That being said, we might as well get into it, starting with the first individual, and that is the TOOLBOX. And here I decided that the TOOLBOX guy needs 5 different scents. The first one being his beater scent, then his work scent, then his gym scent, then his date scent, and then his formal scent. So starting off with his beater scent, I actually picked Versace Pour by Versace, of course. This scent is renowned for smelling eerily similar to Chanel Allure Homme Sport, but of course this one is sometimes half the price, if not less, if you're looking at the gray market resellers. So to achieve that vibe, you have notes of Diamante citrus, as well as bitter orange leaves, neroli, very bright stuff to kind of mimic the aldehydes of an Allure Homme Sport, but you're doing it with a more refreshing nature here just because of how much sharper the citrus florals lean here. It's like a juicy, sparkly sharpness is how I like to describe it when it's radiating off of my skin. And you get that vibe for a good long while before it decides to dry down into a light musky dry down, which is equally safe as well. This stuff just screams versatility, so that's why it is the beater. You can literally use it for any of these other reasons. So maybe like daytime formal, maybe for a night out if you're just looking to stay cool, definitely for the gym if you don't want to overspray, and definitely work because it smells showery and professional enough. So yeah, you can pick this up for a little less for a tester, but I'm deciding to go with the actual bottle here on fragrancenet.com. If my fragrances can come with a cap, I don't mind overpaying for it as long as it's not an exorbitant amount. So $42 for a fragrance that typically retails for way more, I don't mind at all. Anyway, moving on to the next scent for the TOOLBOX individual, and he needs a work scent now. And seeing as a lot of us will spend most of their waking day at work or at home now, because a lot of us work from home now due to the pandemic, you still probably want to spray something onto yourself that screams professional but while maintaining a more exalted attitude. So like for me, Versace Pour Homme, while could definitely pass as a work scent, just comes off as too casual, and that's why it's the beater, but there's nothing wrong with that. But I think I have just a thing for both guys who are either white collar and or blue collar, and that is Terre d'Hermès Eau Très Fraîche. Terre d'Hermès Eau Très Fraîche takes that bitter orange and grapefruit vibe from the OG Eau de Toilette and heightens it up here while taking away more of that soily mineral vibe that a lot of people are not a fan of or find divisive in Terre d'Hermès Eau de Toilette. That being said, you still have a nice cedary backbone here just to know that there's something a little bit stronger there just backing everything up. So it definitely definitely feels masculine. Again, something that you can work actively in and or feel a little bit more esteemed in, like a suit jacket or something like that, say if that's how you work yourself. I know the world's becoming a little bit more casual, but for a scent like this to also be casual but also feel upscale enough at the same time, I just think it's really, really cool. And also I would say that the freshness here doesn't take away from the longevity too much as well, which Terre d'Hermès Eau de Toilette was ultimately also known for. That being said, if 6 hours for you is not good enough, definitely just respray this stuff on. In my mind, I don't think this stuff costs an arm and a leg. Just over $50 for a tester on fragrancenet.com I think is really good value here, considering it actually goes for more and whatnot. And with that being said, don't worry about buying a tester here, just because if you know anything about Terre d'Hermès, it's that this stuff has a cap that you can twist on and off, but ultimately stays on there. So it's not like a tester's not going to have this, because it definitely will. Actually, this is a tester version right here too, so just saying. But yeah, again, if you are a little bit apprehensive of the a little bit more divisive OG Terre d'Hermès, but like it enough that you don't mind something perhaps lighter, still masculine, and still will fulfill the needs of your workday, whatever kind of work you do, then definitely check this out. Again, it is Outre Fresh version of Terre d'Hermès. Anyway, moving on, we have the gym scent category, and this is something that you definitely don't want to neglect too much, just because going to the gym should be a really sacred time for anyone. You got to make the most out of that, especially me. Yikes. But you also don't want to scream at the gym too, and or wear something that is going to break the bank, presuming you are going to shower right after anyway. So here is what we have today, and it is Nautica Voyage. I mean, was it ever in doubt? Come on, if you know this scent, because I know a lot of people do in and outside of the fragrance community, you would know that it is a gym staple, or just for active life, because like it's kind of perfect for it. You got some green apple notes, you got some green notes in there too, you got some blue notes, fruity, green, aquatic, fresh. What else do you want for the gym? And despite smelling inexpensive, I still think altogether Maurice Roussel put together something that still exceeds its price point, at least on the discounted level. Definitely don't spend 60 plus on this retail wise. Yikes. Good lasting power too, so again, you don't want to overspray this in the gym, or maybe you do, just because not a lot of us will smell each other with the masks on lately, you know, depending on where you live in the world, because I know at least in my area gyms are still closed. But yeah, best believe I'm definitely going to reach for this stuff come when I am going back, especially for just under $17 on the discount level. Again, you cannot go wrong. So if you didn't know already, now you do. Again, it is Voyage by Nautica. Alright, for moving on to the next scent, and that is the date night or night out type scent. Presuming you have less of this to do nowadays given the pandemic, I still think you should have these indulgent type scents if you're still going to, you know, indulge at home, you know, cook something nice for the bae, and or have Uber Eats or something like that. Always nice to smell a little bit delicious for whoever your partner is. And the fragrance I've come up with for this situation is Mugler's Amen Pure Malt. I mean, I could have easily went with the OG, but I just feel like with a little bit too much tard patchouli, I think it is kind of dated and or a little bit polarizing. And with Pure Havane, I just feel like it's a little bit much as far as wearing it indoors. At least it kind of explodes off of my skin. So I would really only wear something like that, say if I was stepping out. Pure Malt, yeah, it's not going to scream off your skin as much as the OG, as much as Havane. But if I need to step out, at least I can just spray more of it if I want to, and again, spray less of it if I'm just having an indulgent night at home. Just a really nice welcoming vibe of patchouli, vanilla, cedar, and coffee beans, while also providing this air of, again, a malty kind of vibe, which I just think is really intoxicating, kind of literally. So if you're into yummy masculine type scents, that kind of lean boozy, and or in this case specifically like whiskey, and you don't want to drop that much money like say on a Kilian for example, definitely consider this, especially at the more discounted rate. Last time I saw it though, it was just under 72 bucks on perfumeonline.ca, which isn't the greatest rate, but you'll definitely take it if you do see it, just because what can we do? And another good idea to look out for perhaps is that, say if you also see a tester of this going for a lower price, definitely pursue it, just because of the fact that this also does not have a lid as well, and as a result the bottle will feel and look exactly the same. But anyway, we are moving on to the formal scent now to close us off for Mr. Toolbox guy here, and that is Versace Pour Homme Oud Noir. Now you could arguably rock this for a night out as well, but Again, I just don't feel like it's as delicious per se as a pure malt, but it still has some crowd-pleasing aspects to it because, of course, this kind of superseded the initial Versace Man, also from Versace. So yes, the Versace Pour Homme line, as far as the 3 of them that are out right now, are all actual interpretations of other scents. And again, this one being Versace Man, but of course you have that word Uden there, so you probably have a little bit of inspiration from Oud Wood from Tom Ford. So at the time, of course, as far as the designer level, this was Versace throwing their name into the hat of really popular oud flankers of stuff that already existed, and to be honest, I really can't fault them for wanting to cash in on that hype train at the time, although I do know that this stuff is quite the dog, unfortunately, but I definitely think you should check it out, especially if you want to feel a little bit more something for your more formal occasions, say if we get those again. So again, you have that top and mid of black pepper, cardamom, as well as saffron, like in Versace Man, but instead of a tobacco dry down, it's a little bit more of a synthetic oud dry down, which I still think smells really good, giving it its namesake, and again, I think a rather nice formal scent. Like just over 63 bucks on the discount level, you cannot go wrong. So there you go, that concludes our first individual in the toolbox guy. We're under enough as far as $250 here, so again, let's take a look at what we have. We got our beater in Versace Pour Homme for just over 42 bucks. We have our work scent in Terre de Mes Eau Très Fraîche for just over 50. We have Nautica Voyage as our gym scent for almost $17. Pure Malt for almost 72 for our date / night out scent, and Versace Pour Homme Oud Noir for just over 63 for our formal scent. But now it's time to move on to our next individual. This person is the signature scent guy. So one scent, probably a high-end one, for $250 or less on the gray market level, and the scent I chose for this person is Vetiver Parfum Cologne by Roja Parfum. And the reason why I went with this Roja over other ones, and or perhaps a Creed, perhaps a Ford, perhaps a Marley, is that not only does it check off the boxes that I needed for every other category with the toolbox guy, but it also doesn't smell quote unquote too familiar. Yeah, if you know your Vetivers, yeah, it might lean, say, maybe like a gray Vetiver, or maybe a little bit of Guerlain Vetiver, which both are hella less expensive than this. But for what you're paying here, I do think that it is worth it, especially if you're going to compare it to the even more expensive OG Parfum versions of this scent. I'd actually rather have a more juicier alternative, one that isn't as pungent with the Vetiver, but again, the Vetiver here is still very clean in the dry down. But to get some lemon, some bergamot, some Litsia cubeba, which is a tree whose flowers kind of smell a little bit more lemon-like, and it's just very juicy, to get that stuff here, I just think is awesome in the opening. And this long-lasting opening, I'm telling you, is about maybe 2 or 3 hours, at least off of me, and this thing lasts altogether at least 8-9 with the clean Vetiver dry down. So yeah, I'm not complaining with this. It's a perfect signature scent for someone who needs something all year round, and I can definitely see myself rocking this all year round, although admittedly it does lean summery. It smells upscale enough, of course, with the high quality of ingredients here being a Roja, so you can use it for your more esteemed night out occasions, and or of course formal occasions, whether in the daytime or nighttime, it doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, if this thing is not that original, that's okay with me. It's better than it being a take on something that's even more overdone, say like Elysium, because God knows everyone knows a blue scent when they smell one. And again, why I didn't pick Creed for this category and or Aventus specifically is that just the batch variation really sucks. And I'm not going to lie, I would say in the last couple years, or maybe since 2018, I think Creed batches have been slipping heavily. Like, I just don't think that they smell as premium as they once did, and under new ownership, I just feel like they'll be even worse, which pains me to say because of course I love the brand. And again, with a little bit of originality sacrifice here, if you really do care about a premium smelling citrus vetiver, one that you can just throw on any time of the year, that's why I think this is a really perfect signature scent for you for, again, any of the categories that I last listed with the toolbox guide. That being said, as far as a quick aside, I must say, if you are toying between one ultimate signature scent that can do everything, and or 4 or 5 more utilitarian scents, for that variety. I would always actually choose the variety as far as fragrances go. Maybe not as far as anything else, like when it comes to footwear or maybe attire or maybe watches. And that's because fragrances you almost probably have to replenish sooner. Trust me, I've been there as far as being a signature scent kind of guy. You'll find yourself replenishing that bottle ASAP, and you're just going to keep doing that. And if it's a really expensive scent, it's just going to be a little costly. So unless you can afford 250, 250, 250 every now and then, every 1 year and or maybe sooner than that, then don't do this at all. But if you decide to, I just think that FragranceBuy.ca has a really good rate here. For almost $237 for this concentration, I think is really good. So there you go. Once again, it is Vetiver Parfum Cologne from Roja Parfum for your signature kind of guy. That being said, we have the last individual, and this is the hipster. And the hipster really doesn't care about occasions. They'll wear what they want when they want to. Again, more so in accordance to their mood rather than everything else. And the scent that we're going to kick it off with for this individual is Musk Malaki by Chopin. And Chopin themselves is one of the more prolific watch and or jewelry brands out there. But when it comes to scents, they're criminally overlooked, and that just pains me to say, just because I think their fragrances are so good, especially for the cost that you can pick them up at. To get a really wearable high-level musk that actually performs for just over $47 is amazing. Here you get hit with a clean musk right away, but you're also getting a little bit of black pepper, a nice kick in your nose, a little bit of cedarwood as well, so a nice woody touch to just keep everything feeling a little bit more grounded. And then hours in, you're getting a little bit more leather in the backbone too, but one that doesn't smell too animalistic. Again, what you're getting out of this is a more clean sensation. Off of me, I just smell like a clean human being, if that makes any sense. You know, you get out of the shower, say if some of your stuff is largely unscented, and then your partner perhaps goes in for a hug and a kiss and you just smell fresh. That's kind of how I look at this scent, and if you just want more of that vibe, feel free to spray more of this on. So a clean musk sounds kind of hipster, I don't know, but again, it's also coming from a more fringe brand when it comes to fragrances, so that's also part of my justification for putting this fragrance on the list. It's clean, it lasts, it's seductive. What else do you want? That being said, we're moving on to the next fragrance for the hipster here, and that is by Acqua di Parma. This one is called Mirto de Panarea, and of course this one leans even more clean because it's from the Blue Mediterraneo line from Acqua di Parma. So it goes without saying, you have a more mariner Mediterranean approach here, and I just think here especially it smells that much more awesome. Yeah, the citruses are some of the more hallowed ones from this line and from the brand altogether, but I don't think you should overlook something this clean and this inviting, at least for me, in Mirto de Panarea. The breezy notes, the myrtle, the basil is giving you a little bit more of a soapy touch here. Some would go as far as to say that it smells like dish soap, which I don't think is a bad thing. In fact, I think it is a really good thing, and I know people also have found this to be a little bit weird, say on paper, but off of skin, radiating in the sunlight, I just think it smells majestic. Again, a high-end soapy scent from the heart of the Mediterranean, and definitely one worthy of more love. So that's why a more hipster individual might be more into this, especially when you can get a size twice the size of this one with a cap, but a tester, of course, for less than the price that you can get this for right now. I think that's amazing. So that's over $50 per ml for a scent that you can use for a lot of things from a still really respected brand. You cannot go wrong here. That being said, we're going to arguably a more respected brand, and that is Guerlain. They are the next hipster scent, and this one is none other than Louis. Despite its name in Louis, it is more of a unisex take on benzoin, believe it or not. Benzoin being an intoxicating resin usually used as a darker take on vanilla, but that's not what you're getting here. There's nothing remotely gourmand about the scent. This to me just smells like something you would have wanted to smell during the Art Deco times, but in a dark way. So I think that the bottle design here is also perfect too. So the benzoin here is also backed up with some more spices and some woody notes, which furthermore elicit its more intoxicating properties, but again, one without being sweet. It smells like something that you would have smelled at like a speakeasy or something like that. So if you're a classier kind of person with a more rebellious edge, I would definitely say this is for you. And I've definitely said this in the past because I know that this retails for way more, but this is definitely one of the best values on the gray market that you can get right now. Like for just over $58, and you are getting elevated Guerlain type quality. you cannot go wrong here. So for a nice high-end yet good bang for buck dark hipster scent, definitely check this one out. Once more, it's none other than Louis by Guerlain. But with that being said, we're going to close this list off with one more scent, one that also evokes dark thoughts but is arguably an even better value in itself. That is none other than Encre Noire by Lalique. Encre Noire here is such a unique take on Vetiver, based on an old ink cartridge glassware Lalique design from back in the day. This stuff here in Encre Noire definitely brings that to life. It's green and still wearable technically with the cypress and the vetiver, but to manipulate those notes and others into having this liquidy inky edge, I just think is really cool. It's interesting, it's intriguing, it lasts, and best of all, it's not a huge seller either, so that means you can find it on the gray market level for a rather approachable price. So for just over 25 bucks, like, you really can't go wrong here. And I'd say in general is one of the best values on this video, not just this category. So if you don't know what you're missing yet, just because I get it, Lalique doesn't have a lot of stockists out there, definitely check out this old Fragcom favorite if you are the hipster type. Once more, it is Encre Noire by Lalique. So there you go for the hipster individual, and altogether for them, again, you have Musk Malaki by Chopin, you have Mirto de Panarea by Acqua di Parma, you have Louis by Guerlain, and Encre Noire by Lalique. So we reached a point in the video where I want to know from you now, which kind of individual are you most like? Let me know in the comment section below. Are you the toolbox? Are you the signature? Are you the hipster? And if you are one of those categories or more, what do you think about the fragrances I picked, and what fragrances would you actually pick? Again, let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you guys want to tell me if you enjoyed this format, if you guys want me to do this for maybe $500 or maybe $1,000, also be sure to let me know too. I really can't wait to hear what you guys think of this. And if you also really like this video, also show your support by liking it and subscribing if you have yet to. It really helps me get this video to you guys sooner, and or other people as well. Oh yeah, and hit that bell icon, it really is important. But yeah, that about does it for me, forum. Thank you again. Until next time, take care for now. Peace out. Bye. My name is Manny. Wear your fragrances.